is on this Jetson axle, we're going to be installing this double shoulder shock sent to us by Monorim, and it comes with, it's going to come with some of the spacers for the headset. It's going to come with some bearing cups, the front axle, and this is a cable guide. Okay, other things you're going to need is you might need some extra spacers for the headset. You're going to need this tool to push the star nut in here. Okay, you're going to need a star nut. I don't have that yet. And you're going to need, if you want to keep this the same style of handlebar, you're going to need one of these that has the clamp.
You're also going to need a headset
at the bottom. And first thing we got to do is we're going to remove this cover. I've already done it. It's just a few bolts. I've got the battery out because I'm going to do a battery upgrade, but you remove all the bolts, all the screws or Phillips heads, you remove the cover, and then these Jetsons have all the wires running through the stem here. And so we're going to disconnect everything and pull it out, and then we're going to release this because we're going to reuse this handlebar, and we're just going to pull it out with all the wires. Okay, so first thing you got to do, you unwrap this. So it's basically a few wires and the brake cable. We're going to have to remove it because it goes through the handlebar too, and the front brake cable. So we're going to release the rear cable. Unscrew that. Okay. Pull out. Pull it out. It's out. Now the front. And we're going to have to make adjustments on all this afterwards. Pull it out. Pull it up. Okay, now we got everything loose. Now we're going to remove this. Unscrew this. Unscrewed that, and this slides out. Okay, so it was a little bit of a struggle, but this piece, it goes here. It just slides out like that. It can be tight. So now that this is loose, we're just gonna start pulling those wires out one by one. Okay, and this is what it's gonna look like. All right, it's gonna look bare. Okay, next, we're gonna undo this. We need to release that 6mm hex. Okay, so I just released it, and it's still, this whole thing is still pretty tight. So you see how there's that gap? So you bop it with something, you bop it down with something, something metal, something like this, hammer or something, and it'll release. Okay, this is what it's going to look like once it comes out. So now this unscrews. This one was actually loose already, but if it wasn't, you just put a screwdriver there and smack it with the hammer, and it'll break loose. Okay, so then there's, looks like a spacer here, and this, you could stick a screwdriver there. I have really awesome Nipex pliers that'll grip this. Alright, that's loose. And I believe we're going to reuse these bearings. Okay, so we're going to have to order a headset as well, because this is what comes in the kit. And there's got to be more to it than this, because the new The new fork's gonna pop out just like this, but that's not gonna work because you can see the bearing. There's gotta be more to it, so we're gonna have to order a headset. Okay, and to remove this light, because it's gonna get in the way, what you have to do is there's a little Phillips head screw into here. I removed it already. It's a little tiny thing, this little thing. You remove it, and then you stick something in there and kind of push the light out. Pull it out. Okay, you can disconnect it there. You can disconnect it, and then in there are 2 more Phillips head screws. Whoops. One there, and one at the bottom there, and then it comes off. Okay, so this is the way it comes. It looks like there's gonna be a gap, so we can either fill that gap. See the difference in the between the head tube. So we can put spacers there, or what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna loosen these 4 bolts there and move the bracket upward to close the gap, and that way I'll have more wheel clearance down here. There'll be more space down here, because when compared to the stock fork, it's got about the same wheel clearance, but this is gonna move up, so the wheel's gonna rub there if I don't move this this machine part up. All right, we're gonna pop this out, this cup, and we're gonna pop this cup out, because our new headset's gonna come with that, and this has limiters that coincide, or they mesh with the old fork to not allow full rotation, so we don't need that. Okay, so this is what I have available. I'm not sure what the exact tool is to do this, to get these cups out. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stick it in this end, catch the ridge there, give it a little bump. It should pop out. Try a little bit harder. All right, shot out somewhere. Have to find it. And here's the other side. You catch it. It's gonna hit the wall. Let's see. There it is, popped out. So I'm gonna be showing you guys how I installed the bearing cups, but something wasn't right. It was way too hard to put those cups in, and it was just way too hard to put the bearings in. They should just slip in, and I had to bang the cups in with the rubber mallet, which usually you have to hit them in there, but not as they shouldn't be as difficult as they were for me. And the cups should just slip in. Oh, excuse me, the bearings should just slip in, like others I've done, and these didn't. So I suspect that there's should be some machining done on the head tube, or possibly the wrong bearings. I don't know. And I knew this as I was doing it, but I chose to do it anyway because I figured it'd probably be fine, and it was for me. It worked out fine. Um, Everything is working correctly. Everything's good, and it doesn't look like the tube got deformed or anything like that. But if you want to do it right, you're probably gonna have to go add a few extra steps. Okay, here's the headset. This is the top one. This is the bottom one. Okay, so what we do is here's the bearing. I'm going to use that right now, so we can take that out, so remove it, and then we just place it in there. And you can tap it in. I tap it in with the rubber mallet with that one. Okay, and then you do the same for the front. Okay, so I got them in, both the top and bottom. with the rubber mallet. You do have to bang on it pretty hard. And they were the 44 millimeter. Okay, and then so you just put the bearing in there like that. I have to tap it in lightly with the rubber mallet, and then same thing with the top. Alright, so I got the bearings in. They were a lot harder to get in than other ones that I've done. I don't know if maybe this is a different size, maybe I got the wrong size, but I got it in. I ended up just tapping in there with the rubber mallet to get it started. And then I used, what is this, a 30 millimeter socket, and just went to pound town. Okay, I removed this top piece, the top part of the fork here, and I'm gonna slide this piece that came with the bearing set. I'll slide it onto here, and then we're gonna slide this onto the frame. Okay, we got it on, and now this is the part that goes on the top that comes with the bearing set, and then goes finally the seal. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna move the shocks down. We're gonna loosen these. Well, first I'm gonna put the top part on so that we don't lose the alignment here, and then we're gonna loosen these, and then we're gonna bring the wheel down so that there's a bigger gap here because this is too small. Okay, so I have it on. So what I did is these are tight. Okay, this one is loose to allow this bottom section along with this to move up and down. So now these are loose, and I'm going to adjust it, and then I'm also going to look at how much gap I have here. If I still have a gap there, I'm going to have to put spacers here. So they're going to be spacers here and here. Okay, here's a mock-up. I am going to have to use a spacer here, and then I think I am going to have to cut it. Okay, so I got it mocked up here. I'm going to have to cut this section off. And the way to do that is you have to mark, you're gonna have to mark right there at the lowest point. You have to mark the lowest point and then cut a few millimeters under that, maybe like 4 or 5 millimeters under that, so you can get a space to compress. And I'm gonna use a old pipe wrench that I have. It's been working good for me. Other times I've used it, so. Okay, I've gone ahead and cut it, and because I used a pipe cutter, there's a nasty like burr that, and don't try to, if you do what I did, don't try to put that in without removing the burr, because I've done it in the past and it messes it up. So I had to go in there with the drum on the inside and just clean up the burr. So what you do is you screw the star nut onto the tool, screw it on, and then you stick it on this end like that, alright, until it pops out, the other end like that, and then you put it in there, and then you just tap it with the hammer, tap that button with the hammer, and once it recesses, once it sinks in there, the star nut will be in. Okay, so that's the star nut right in there. Okay, I've already put it back in, and everything is loose. These are loose. The bolt over here is loose. This is loose, and you want there to be a gap. See this gap here? You want there to be a gap right there, so that when you put the nut on there, this bolt, it compresses everything. So you're gonna put that in there. You're gonna tighten it until you don't feel any play in the fork, and you'll start to feel it tight. And there's actually a torque spec on it. You can look it up online, whatever it is. And and once this is tight, then you can align your stem, because this is loose. You can align the handlebar, then you tighten that, you tighten these, and you tighten the bolt back here. Okay, and then that's it. Then you put the rest of it together. As far as the brakes, it comes with some spacers, and it comes with 2 brackets. So the one that worked for me is this one, where it extends out. But the spacers didn't work for me. You can shave them down. There's enough aluminum in the ones that are included. These are the ones that are included. You can shave them down and make it work, but I had some spacers, some extra spacers, so I just used those to align this right with the caliper. And you just put the rest of it back together the way you took it apart. After you tighten everything down, and you're good to go. So here it is. I think it looks pretty cool with the stock headlight there. I did put this wrap over all the cables going straight in there in the case there. I put the front caliper on. Just a quick tip that I like to do to center this right is you can get the tool to center it, but if you've got feeler gauges, you can screw around with different sizes until you get it centered. What I do is I stick it in between the rotor and the outer pad, and then I squeeze, and then I tighten the mounting bolts, and that seems to work well for me. I'm gonna be running a backpack battery for the first few rides, so I did this the input there, drilled a hole and put a grommet there. I really like the way it came out. I took it for a spin, and it rides very stable. I took it for a spin with a 52-volt battery. I'll be doing it later today. Show you guys the top speed and how well it handles. And this is my other bike that I also have Monorim forks on. And I had this one I've had this one for a while. Monorim actually reached out to me about this one after seeing a post I did on this one. This one's 9100 watts. It's quick, I've had it over 60. And the only thing about this and getting a front motor to fit is you're gonna have to drill and tap a hole for the caliper in a different spot so that it lines up with the rotor. Make sure you measure, because I eyeballed it and I ruined a mounting bracket. I had to order another one. But I really like this setup. Something I that is not really advertised about these shocks, or really any front suspension, is your braking becomes so much better, because when you brake, especially when you hit the front brake, the rear doesn't get light and slide. Instead, the front sinks in, it smashes in, and you keep getting full traction for braking. So that's something I noticed, and with a bike with higher speeds, it's a definite plus. So I'm going to take this one for a spin later and show you guys the top speed and how it handles with the 52-volt battery. We're just going to do a little speed run here. Hopefully I get it all on camera the way I should. We're on the Jetson axle. Yeah, this thing moves. We're moving. This is a 52-volt battery. It feels super stable. I can move side to side because of the forks. I wouldn't dare play around like this with the stock suspension or with the stock forks. But yeah, it feels smooth. And I think we got up to 25.3 there. And turn around. That was on the slide uphill, so I think we're gonna probably go a little bit faster going down. Yeah, we're already at 26. I'm gonna tuck a little bit. I can't though, because then the camera goes off frame. And these are fully adjustable air shocks. They come with 2 eyelets in case you want to do a stabilizer. All right, so we got 26.4. And this was with a multi-voltage 15 amp controller. Super smooth. So after that short ride, the motor did get kind of hot. So I'd imagine it would probably get much hotter with a longer ride. So I'm gonna put some Statorade in it, and hopefully that helps because these motors do fail. And thanks for watching.